Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. Do we have any audio? Yes, we do. Thank you. Hello, everybody. This is Marilyn, and it's time for the noon edition of Welcome to My World. This is the fourth day of May, and it is a Thursday. And boy, we've had a little movement in some of these markets today. Um, I don't know that any of the indices, one's been a little stronger than the other. Um, it seems like NQ and YM have maybe been a little bit more volatile than NQ and the ES have been a little more volatile than YM. But I don't know. I don't think that's a big deal. Crude oil has suddenly decided to fall off, and the you see something like this uh, chart. I know we all use a little bit different charts with the same information on them, but this business right in here, let's see, it started about 9:30 this morning until just a couple of minutes ago, 30 minutes ago or so, not even that. Um, this is this is what Lori calls a chop box. And some of you have seen her draw uh, literally a square around something like this. Get my mouse out of the way here. Kind of like this, um, because it's going to break with all this little chopping around and these bunchy little apexes and all these little stars and X's and all this stuff, and it's going nowhere. When it breaks, it's going to go one way or the other, and it will move. So she likes the chop boxes, and some people like to draw those on there, which are really helpful. And I prefer to put these doorbell effect things on here. So if it gets close to one way or the other, you at least get a an audible notification if you're not looking right at it. But once it went down here to the 2 deviation, you could trail your stop really tight. But if you notice at the 2 deviation, I have seen crude oil go on to 3. I've seen that several times. It's just very, very rare. And the other thing you notice right here is the range boxes are dynamic, which means they will adjust themselves. And sometimes the next hour's range box can give you a little clue of what to expect also. And this is kind of telling you that it might go back up here and test this 2 deviation level. Um, but I have also learned that when these um, when these you get a trend like this, and then you get an elevator in the middle of that trend, it is boy, watch for that, because bonds did that this morning. I have noticed this on gold. I've noticed it in bonds and on YM, and when you see it happen on crude oil. But you get an elevator after a trend like this, it's taken a breath. There's some profit taking on those contracts, and then it turns around and goes right on. But in this case, at a 2 deviation level, I don't have a lot of confidence that's going to be the case. Bonds have sold off significantly this morning, and the euro is going up and up against a falling dollar. So this there's a lot of things going on, and some of this is just starting to get settled out. The the thing with crude oil, to kind of keep your eye on in a month. In fact, it's 4 weeks from today. OPEC has another meeting. And these OPEC boys are the issue on the table at this next meeting, 4 weeks from today, is are they going to extend their production cap for another 6 months? And who knows? They say one thing and do another all the time. But it will likely be a significant turning point one way or the other. And crude oil in the bigger picture is likely to chop around until they come to some agreement. I mean, if they do. Sometimes they have those meetings and can agree to nothing. But the rig counts, I think Karen put in the chat, and you're absolutely right. The rig counts have come up significantly since last summer. They were falling and falling and falling for a while every single week. But once that all got turned around, and the shale drillers have come back online too, which they just gave up and stopped when the price got down so low, which of course was the whole point of the Saudis flooding the market. But they found out that didn't work out as well as they thought. So now they're talking about extending their production cap. The other thing is that doesn't really involve us in the U.S., nor are the Russians likely to agree to that. So a lot of this, there's the old rumor about buy the rumor and sell the news, or one way or the other. Anyway, there's a big difference between rumor and reality. That's my point. So this morning we had a lot of news numbers released, and that's what got bonds started down. A really nice trade off the 1.5 deviation level this morning, and it started just a couple of 3 minutes after that news. So there were lots and lots of the Canadian trade balance was way off, and the Canadian dollar has been having a kind of a nervous breakdown all morning. It's been jittering around in a range, and it doesn't seem to get one way or the other. So if you trade that, especially on those Forex pairs on the Nadex, you might find a breakout trade one way or the other pretty soon if you get a lid on what it will take to break one way or the other. But it's likely to happen, and happen soon. It's been in this thing all day since I think about midnight. Anyway, the U.S., we had unemployment claims came down a little bit this morning. But this preliminary non-farm productivity is not it's not quite what they had forecasted for. So hopefully some of these will start looking a little better. The trade balance also has come down just a hair, not significantly, but so tomorrow we're going to have more news numbers at 8:30 again, and this is going to be the unemployment. So be careful, both Canada and the U.S. Be real careful at 8:30 when that comes out. And tomorrow afternoon at 1:30, Mrs. Yellen is going to speak again. So some of the economists think that at the next meeting, which I think is in June or July, they're looking for these numbers to come up a little bit. So if we start to see that happen, they they likely will raise the interest rates. Not much, but probably 25 basis points. That was on there. They explained that, I think, in December that they were looking at doing that. So, let's see. I think that's about it. Everybody should have a new toolkit with the template that Daryl used the other day when he was in the room. Um, I'm not positive. I'm not positive. I'm not promising, but he has indicated he may be able to get back in next Monday for another few lessons, which those are always very. Everybody always gets every time anything like that happens. If you just get one or two little tidbits out of it, they all start to add up over time. So